Hello, everybody. I thought I will just do a quick presentation to talk you through the visa process from when you arrive in Cambodia, specifically for those who arrived on a tourist visa, and also those who have African passport holders, so specifically for the South Africans, as well as the Namibian passport holders, and maybe even some of the Caribbean passport holders itself. So firstly, this will be applying for your E-type visa. What do I do next? You can also get all of this information on our website under the blog. Just go and have a look there. It says under our blog section on our website, English Teachers Cambodia, visas for English teachers in Cambodia. You can Google it as well and you'll get it there from them as well. All right, so firstly, when you arrived in Cambodia, you arrived on a tourist visa. The tourist visa would be valid for 30 days. You would arrive here at the training center, and then our assistant will then assist you to apply for a visa extension for another 30 days. So that actually gives you a total of 60 days in Cambodia itself. Please just note, on a tourist visa, you have to leave after 60 days. You cannot extend onto a work visa at all. So within the 60 days of arrival here in Cambodia, you need to have found a job, or alternatively, you need to do another visa run to come back in on a tourist visa itself. So let's just go with the principle of you have arrived on a tourist visa. Initially, you would have been stamped in for 30 days. We would help you to do a visa extension for another 30 days, and now you are on a 60-day visa. Within that 60 days, you would finish your course with us. You will start interviewing with schools, and you will find employment with a school here in Cambodia itself. Once you have your job with the employer, it is super important that you get 4 major, very important documentation from the employer. The first one is a letter of employment or sponsorship. Second one would be the company's license. Thirdly, the company patent tax. And number 4, and the most important part of the documentation, or the most important documentation, would be the foreign employee quota certificate issued by the Ministry of Labor. So this certificate is the certificate which tells the government or the immigration officers that the employer is allowed to actually employ foreigners to work for them. All right, so firstly, the letter of employment. This is the example of what it needs to have. So it needs to be on a company letterhead. It needs to clearly state your name as per your passport number, who the employer is, what your position would be, when you would be arriving there, what the address is, etc. So as you can see on the screen, you will kind of see everything that is on there you would need. All of this information is also available on our blog, so please feel free to go and download those details there from there. From there, after you've got the letter of employment, then obviously you need to get your foreign employee quota certificate. This is an example of what the certificate looks like. So again, this certificate is issued by the Ministry of Labor. Your employer must have applied to the ministry to give them authorization that they are allowed to employ foreigners for their company. So this is a very, very important document. Without this document, you would not be able to get a visa itself. Now that you have all of the documentation, now it is time for you to apply for your E-type visa. Your first visa was a T visa, a tourist visa, and now you're going to apply for your E-type visa. And the E-type visa is the only visa which can then be extended further on for longer periods of time. So there are 2 options that you can do. The first option is that you can do an online visa application, or you can actually go and apply for this in person. But for both of them, you will have to leave the country and then come back into Cambodia again. The online visa is maybe a little bit easier because physically you will just do an online application. You wait for your visa approval. Once your visa approval is done, you will hop onto a bus, cross the border, stay one night, and then come back into Cambodia and be stamped in on the E-type visa. The other way to do it is to actually go to a Cambodian embassy in any of the neighboring countries outside of Cambodia and then apply for it in person itself. So the online E-type visa is a very easy process to do. It is physically, you just upload all of the documentation onto the website. You pay for the visa, and then within 3 to 5 working days, your visa will be issued. It is, however, very important that you please need to note the website address for the e-visa. It needs to be evisa.gov.kh. Be very careful. There are obviously a lot of scams out there, so please be sure that you make sure that you actually do the application on the correct visa itself. So you'll go onto the website, scroll a little bit down, and then right at the bottom, you'll click on apply, and then it will take you through to the process of actually applying for the visa itself. Once your visa has been approved, or when you actually want to go and do the visa at a Cambodian embassy itself, then you would need to do what they call a visa run or a border hop. It is a very, very common practice for all teachers in Southeast Asia. So kind of see it as a bit of an adventure, depending on your budget and your finances. Maybe make a weekend of it, just to go out of the country and then come back into the country, because you need to kind of go and activate your e-visa if you have done it online, or you actually have to physically go into the embassy at any of the consulates to apply for your visa itself. If you're going to apply for it in person, the process takes about a day. So generally go early in the morning, submit all of your documentation, and you should be able to get your visa back later that afternoon or the following morning. So you will be out of the country for a few days to kind of do it. Where can you go? So visa runs are generally done either to Bangkok, Malaysia, Laos, Singapore, or Kuala Lumpur. You need to just obviously make sure that you possibly need a visa. But the places where, for instance, South Africans can go without a visa or can get a visa on entry would be like Thailand, Malaysia, Laos, Singapore, as well as Kuala Lumpur. For the Namibian passport holders, note that you will need to apply for a visa for Bangkok. However, it's a visa on arrival in Malaysia, and then as well as Laos, which is most probably also quite an easy process to kind of do. It might be a cheaper option to go to Laos to apply for to do your visa run on that side. Now, once you have your e-visa or your e-type visa has been issued and you've come back into the country, then when you enter Cambodia again, you will only be stamped again for 30 days. Please note that it's not an extended visa, but the fact that you are on the e-type visa means that you can now apply for what they call an extension of stay, or an EOS. The extension of stay, you can apply for a 6-month extension of stay that will go onto an EB visa. You can do that without a work permit. Or alternatively, if your work permit is already issued and you have it in hand, then you can actually apply for a 12-month extension of stay or an EB visa on that. That's pretty much all. I hope that helped you, and good luck with everything. Thanks a lot.